Hello, everyone. It's Levitate with Tate and the Oracle 8. I'm doing a live, and I apologize ahead of time for all the abundant animals I have. I have so many animals. You might see outside, I might have some stray cats. Compare that. I have a cat, an orange one, of course, doing his thing right now, trying to got drop on him. It's always when I need quiet. Like my dog knows when I need quiet. you know. Always gotta chew on the bone. All right, so I wanted to do this live, and um, I'm kind of doing a. It's like a test. I'm doing a test, and I think I already know the answer to the test, unfortunately. So I see something floating right there. I did want to share with everybody. Like I've been having these very odd paranormal experiences happen to me, and my daughter. We kind of both experienced them at the same time, and they just started um, since my grandfather died. So I think it's just my grandfather trying to help us reconcile with my mother, but I don't think that's going to happen. I don't really answer the phone. So my test is that, and my hypothesis and my theory is that I think that yesterday I went live for only 10 minutes and I had like 53 people watching. But I was doing my spread like pointed down. I don't know why I'm sharing this, but because it's pointing at me today and I don't have anyone watching. so that's my theory. You can follow where I'm going with this. Anyways, we're gonna keep it up. I got all dressed up and look nice and to get myself on camera. I'm trying to, as I start my channel, I see other channels succeed in both doing the spreads and also doing the face to face. So that's what we're gonna do. So we're gonna start with Our Lady of the Abundant Garden. So the Lady of the Abundant Garden is a card that indicates that you might have been feeling, that you have no way to really, plan for the future in survival mode. And it's a real thing. It's called poverty mindset. When you are waking up every day, struggling to just make enough money so that you have a roof over your head, you have enough food. Sometimes you don't even make enough money for food, you can't feed your kids. Your whole mind gets focused on fulfilling those necessary needs. And so, like, some people have a hard time understanding this. My sister, we were raised by the same family, and I'm only like 4 years older than her. I'm like significantly older than my brother, which makes sense, but he doesn't understand that I was raised. But my parents were poor when I was born. I was the oldest. Um, and sometimes like you can't be a vegetarian if you're struggling to survive because you have to just eat what the food pantries give you. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, the Lady of the Abundant Garden is coming to you at a time with a message that you shouldn't fear survival, that you are protected and supported at this time, and that you have so much already, and you can open up to receive so much if you let go of the fear of loss that actually shuts us off from the universal flow of abundance. So in this mother's garden, there's always blooming harvest, okay? And in this part of the garden, even if it's in decline, there's areas that are still thriving and flowing in another part. And so all you need to do is open up your heart and open up your trust to understand her way of constant flowing energy. Okay. So that's like our overall oracle card. And so we're going to say a little prayer of affirmation. My life is a tree of life, thriving in the Divine Mother's garden of abundance. The Divine Mother Mary, who loves me unconditionally, helps me trust in what is coming, even when I am letting go. The abundance of the Divine Mother knows no limits, and I am provided for through her loving grace. So perhaps some of you are feeling lack right now and you feel like you're worried that you're not going to have enough. Just remember that when you let go of that worry actually blocks us, is what that's saying. It puts a block on our ability to receive more abundance. I'm going to get a few more oracle cards and then we'll do some tarot. I hope everyone's doing all right. There is a sense of like sadness and loss in the air a little bit this weekend. Okay. So you're going through a transformation now. You're going to have the ability to turn an upcoming conflict into an opportunity for growth. And so it might be with a partner or a friend or a child, maybe someone at work, but you're going to be able to fuel this conflict, take this conflict as fuel and turn it into a catalyst for growth as a journey together. Okay. And so if you do have a partner, Spirit is suggesting that you guys try to take some time to get to know each other again, because even if we've been with each other for years and years and years, sometimes we forget to open up our heart to our partner. We become so stuck in like our routines that we forget that we've made like a commitment to a partnership. Okay. And sometimes we've had like a hard time trusting, and we can like have a hard time even trusting the people we need to. And so in order to repair that, you have to, kind of strive for harmony within yourself and your partnerships. Let's get so I think if you take time to slow down, Spirit suggesting take time to slow down. We have bakery, which is it's taking time to enjoy the labor of our lives, because you can't too much pleasure is it's bad. Okay, too much pleasure is bad. um Moderation is where everything lies, especially in spirituality. Oh, my orange cat, here he is again. Here he is again. And even if you are in survival mode and you're fearing like that you're not going to have enough and that you need to start like saving for later, Spirit is letting you know that everything is going to work itself out. And if you take time and working on something you enjoy, like baking or painting or something like that, you're going to have a much better time um, letting this go, moving past this, being able to remove the block so that the abundance flows. Because we can get really stuck in that energy, especially if we've been there for a while. Um, you can get stuck in that energy. So Spirit wants to remind you that you have the power, within inside yourself, to do otherwise. Oh, I'm having a hard time talking. All right, Spirit, angels, spirit guides, ancestors, angels, spirit guides, ancestors. Ooh, okay. So Spirit's trying to like let you know everything's gonna work it out. Make sure that you have, that conflict that you've been experiencing is gonna work itself out. But make sure that you're pouring enough for yourself. You've got to believe and trust that everything's gonna work out, because if you stay stuck on the conflicts, then you're not going to be able to let that go and be able to really prosper, you know. Ooh. So be careful what you say. Everything that you say has power. Words have power, you know. Lies have power. Everything you say has power, and it puts that negative or positive spin on things. So you always want to make sure that every time you're announcing something that you can do or foresee yourself doing in the future, it's with a positive spin. Okay? And so I see that in the future, you really have got to take some time for yourself right now, though, because if you don't take some time to yourself, it's gonna your own energy is gonna end up betraying you, and you're gonna have like a um what are they called? I just heard backstab at that. That's not what you're gonna have a you're gonna break down, and so Spirit wants you to let go, remind you who you are, that you have the capability of really transforming anything. You have the seeds for the future, and that's what the abundant garden is about too. You have the abundant garden and the secret garden, and so Spirit wants to remind you that you have things around you. You got to be thankful for the things around you. You have a beautiful house over your head. You have beautiful family. You have a beautiful job. You have the ability to feed yourself. Okay, and you're coming to this point where you have to make a decision, but you need to make it in a balanced mindset. And there's going to be a new beginning, but you can't have that new beginning if you're not in the balanced mindset. It's gonna go in a repeated cycle if you don't proceed in a new state of mind. Okay, and so when the time arrives for you to entertain or not entertain, um, move forward in the situation, you're going to need to make sure that you have the right people by your side, the right tools by your side, but that you keep in mind the belief, because you're going to have a lot of naysayers that are going to try to, and that's why you don't want to be the person, saying it, because if you say, oh, I can't do it, everyone's going to say, yeah, she can't do it. Did you hear her? She can't do it. And sometimes you're the only one saying you can do it. And you got to keep on keeping on, even when your mama and papa don't say that you can do it. Okay. And so Spirit wants to remind you to show up in your authentic self. You've got to be true to yourself. Okay. Um, because without that, you're not going to be able to reach a balance, reach that that state, that balance that you need to make the decision to properly move forward and not get stuck in the cycle of the lack mindset. And so the lack mindset, it seems to be really what is at the center of not being able to transform. And in order to transform, you're going to have to go deeper, deeper, so that you're not stuck You're going to have to balance yourself out. But in order to balance yourself out, you're not going to be able to balance yourself out unless you go deeper. Okay. And so you have a fear like you're missing out, like there's something like you feel like you're missing out on something. And Spirit wants to remind you that you have riches surrounding you. You are very lucky. Okay. And so that disappointment is something that you need to work on too. Look around you. Okay. You have people that are actually wish they were in your shoes right now. Okay. There's going to be a new beginning. There's going to be a new deal that Spirit is going to give you here soon. But you need to just lift the clouds. The mental clouds need to be removed, and you need to move towards this new beginning. Without moving, you don't have, without that you have no momentum, you have no capability. You're going to get stuck again. Okay. And so I really think that throughout the years you've seen this repeated cycle happen over and over and over again throughout since you were a child. And so I really think that right now the key to building um a beautiful um lost my train of thought. Uh, the key to success, the key to getting through this is your mind. And like I said, or I've said before, you can change your mind. Your mind is like a program. So um you can change the way your mind thinks. And I've been able to do it. And I know that I hope my kids can do it. I don't think they've been able to do it because I raised them to a point where they don't need to, like the way I did. But if you rewire your neurons, you can make neurons thicker. So if you have a bad thought in your head, what you need to do is rewind it and then re-say it in a positive light. Just like you don't say bad things, you don't think bad things. Okay, because thoughts are energy too. Okay, everything is energy. That's why it's manifestation. You want to check your thoughts, check what you're saying. You know, that's how you get rid of the lack mindset. Okay. And some of us grew up in this Christian mindset that money is evil. Everybody that has money, I came from a very well off family, and I had that mindset. And that, like, because my mom puts money before everything, and I didn't understand how you could put it before your child. So I moved away from like money for a while. Now I have a very healthy relationship with money, and I'm very um I have autonomy, and I'm independent. Um so anyways, yeah, 18 on the clock. Anyway, so I hope that everyone, not a single person came on. So I think next time I do a live, I'm just gonna face the camera so you can see what my cards look like. um yeah, cool. Well, at least I got another 18-minute dollar video up there. Hopefully, someone watches it in the future and tells me that this resonated deeply with them and they want to tell me all about it in the comments below. Please. All right, loves. Peace, rock, and roll.